In this video, we're talking about Virginia's melting pot. This is the oldest, most historic city in the United States. I'm talking about Richmond, Virginia. Is it worth it to live here? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it safe? Stay tuned because we're gonna go over the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. These are the top 10 pros and cons of living in Richmond.
If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn all there is to learn about eating, working, sleeping, playing, and living in Richmond, Virginia and the surrounding areas, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to hear. Hi, I'm Liz Allen.
And I'm Rachel Allegra. We've been helping people make their move to Richmond, Virginia, and we love it. Whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We're looking forward to helping you make a smooth move to Richmond. So as I was saying earlier, we are doing a pros and cons video today. Let's get into it. Pro number 1, Culinary Scene. Richmond is a big foodie town and has a vast amount of award-winning restaurants. There are so many fresh and organic healthy options and over 15 different farmers markets around the city that you can choose from. Who doesn't love local produce? Most restaurants in this area are farm to table because the huge amount of our nation's meat and vegetables are actually products of Virginia. So there's a fun fact for you. There are so many different parts of the globe represented in restaurants throughout Richmond. You can get the best Southern cuisine, which is what Richmond is known for, or you can get anything else you have a craving for, from Cuban food to Mexican street food or pierogies to a smorgasbord from the Jewish deli down the street, from sushi to donuts to even sushi donuts. Yep, you heard that right. The options are literally endless. Not to mention there are so many vegan and gluten-free options for anyone who has dietary restrictions. Because Richmond has this booming restaurant scene, the city puts on a restaurant week every year to highlight local restaurants and their top-of-the-line chefs. If you're a big foodie like myself, you might want to check out some of our other videos where we highlight yummy different restaurants in the Richmond area. Number 2, proximity. Richmond is close to major cities, mountains, and the beach. It is centrally located where you're only an hour from the mountains in Charlottesville, which offers amazing hiking and views, and 1 hour and 30 minutes to Virginia Beach and 1 hour and 30 minutes to Washington, D.C. Which brings me to number 3, Rivercity. Along with proximity, Richmond is known as the River City because the James River runs right through downtown Richmond. Outside magazine named Richmond the best river town in all of America. Richmond won this title thanks to the massive efforts over the past 4 decades of cleaning up the James River and transforming the river system into a mecca of outdoor water activities. Richmond has been long tied to the river from both an economic and recreational standpoint. While the city was once prosperous due to the trade that the James River brought, the river is now used every day for all sorts of outdoor activities such as kayaking, rafting, fishing, biking, hiking, rock climbing, all the things along the trails. Number 4, light in traffic. Richmond is light in traffic compared to other major cities. If you're from Virginia or Maryland, you know that DC traffic can be an absolute nightmare at times. Richmond's highway infrastructure is very well built to handle its commuters, even at peak times. Something people love about Richmond is compared to other major cities in the United States, it is very much smaller. It will never get as big as cities like DC, New York, or Chicago, which definitely helps keep commuters happy. According to TomTom.com, out of the 80 major cities in the United States, Richmond was actually ranked in the top 10 for best traffic. Richmond commuters are only spending 23 hours in traffic per year, where people in New York lose 80 hours per year sitting in traffic. Everyone knows time is money, but Richmond seems like the perfect place to do business since employees and delivery times are spending less time and money sitting in traffic. Number 5, great art and entertainment scene. Richmond is widely known for its art and entertainment scene. There are so many things to do here, from utilizing the outdoor space at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, to attending a comedy club at night, to watching a live play at the Bird Theater, to exploring all of the murals around the city. It's widely known that Richmond uses a canvas for its streets for creativity. You can find more than 150 murals painted around the city by artists from all over the world. There are endless art galleries that offer immersive and vibrant experiences, showcasing national and local artists and a party every month for the arts when there is an art walk every first Friday. Richmond is truly an arts destination. Pro number 6, 4 seasons. Richmond gets all 4 seasons: fall, winter, spring, and summer. It is beautiful to see the huge trees change colors in the fall, and who doesn't love sledding or building a snowman during Christmas time in the winter? Come time spring, everyone plants their beautiful flowers and restores their gardens and chats with neighbors at community gardens in the area. And when summer comes around, it's so nice to take your boat out on the James River to catch some sun, or even take a dip in the James River for a refreshing swim. Pro number 7, history. Richmond is known for having so much history in this city. It is the oldest city in America that dates back to the early 17th century. Richmond played a huge role in the Revolutionary and Civil Wars. There are dozens of museums packed throughout the city with tons and tons of history. There are multiple walking tours around the city that you can do, and a lot of old commercial buildings in the city have been renovated and turned into condos, but the city has certain ordinances, so the history can be preserved on those buildings. A lot of the sidewalks and streets are made of brick pavers that have really shaped the city, and every house that is over 50 years old has a historical plaque on it. In 1888, Richmond also became the first electric trolley system in the nation, which has totally built up the city, and it played a key role in the development of not only Virginia, but all of America. Number 8, friendly people and pet friendly. Richmond is widely known to be a very friendly city and a super, super pet friendly city. You can bring your furry friends just about anywhere. The people love it, and you know your dogs love it even more. The people who live here are very hospitable and welcoming of all new individuals. During the pandemic, a Richmond native started this Be Kind movement in the city by creating these unique Be Kind signs, which have now spread throughout the city and the surrounding suburbs as well. Thousands of people in and around the city have the Be Kind sign hanging from their balconies or sitting on their front porch, and businesses have the sign in their windows, and teachers have the sign in their classrooms. Anyone who is currently looking for a city to move that is super accepting and filled with pleasant people may want to settle down in this diverse area. Which leads me to number 9, festivals and diversity. Richmond has been ranked the most diverse city in the United States in a study by Finder.com. The study ranked 209 cities by 17 cultural, socioeconomic, and household diversity factors using U.S. Census data, and Richmond wound up being number 1. It is a huge melting pot of all different types of people. And Richmond holds so many festivals to honor and celebrate diversity, such as the Irish Festival, which is held in Churchill every year, and the Juneteenth Festival to honor Black people, and the Folk Festival to promote cultural exchange and understanding and honor artistic mastery, and the Watermelon Festival in Carytown to celebrate summertime, and so many more. People come from all over to participate in these festivals, and we will drop a link about well-known festivals below that you can see that Richmond puts on. Number 10, VCU. VCU is ranked as the #1 fine arts school in this urban setting in Richmond. It also is the #1 top medical school and top #1 nursing anesthetic school in the nation. It has over 200 programs and brings people from all over the world to the Richmond city, and it has students from 101 different countries from all over the world. Not to mention, it has an outstanding basketball team that actually made it to the Final Four in 2011. Go Rams! And they also have a great sponsor, the Yateman Group.
On number 1, just going to talk to you guys a minute about the public transportation system here in Richmond. It is not ideal. A group came in about 10 years ago and did a study, and we figured out that we are coming in around 92 out of 100 cities that were looked at. If you're a family that's dependent on public transportation, this could be a hardship. This actually makes it tough for people who need to leave the city, get to their jobs, and unfortunately, there's not a great answer to this. We did have a nice new public bus system come through in 2018, which has taken off a lot of the pressure, but there are still those corridors where it's just not going to work. So need to be aware that we're working on it, it's getting better, but the complaint is that the buses just don't come often enough and there's not enough of a berth that they're actually on. For instance, Midlothian Turnpike, from Johnston Willis Hospital to Chesterfield Town Center. So many restaurants, so many jobs, so many opportunities to work, but no bus system. So the people that might need those jobs just can't get there. That's the way it is. Con number 2, the condition of the roads. There are potholes everywhere in Richmond. You will notice them. There are craters, there's areas that are sinking. It's a real thing. Part of the issue is that this is one of the oldest cities in the country, and there were streetcar lines, there's all the brick and cobblestone that Richmond is so famous for. Doesn't make for a great subfloor for roads. Con number 3, the cost of private education for your children. The national average for a private school, K through 12 in this country, is around $12,400. Probably won't get away with that in Richmond. There's a really popular school in the West End in Glen Allen. That tuition starts at around $24,000 for K through 5 and moves right on up close to $30,000 for high school. There's another one in Richmond, similar pricing, little lower, $16,000 to $24,000. One reason we have this issue is that there just probably aren't enough private schools here, and there is typically a wait list. So if that's something that you're thinking about, I would make those phone calls now and find out which schools you're interested in and what the wait list is. Same goes for daycare. Just a little trivia for you, but before you end up planning that next baby, you might want to find out how to get on that wait list for a daycare center. Con number 4, allergies. Richmond is one of the top 10 worst offenders for allergies in the country. Not much we can do to fix that. The geography and the humidity here create a perfect environment for thousands of plants. The worst offender is ragweed, and it grows prolifically. Now you're going to get a little break in the winter when it's cold, but starting up in the spring, many people in Richmond really struggle with this, especially if you come from an area where you're not used to it. So once the pollen dies down, we actually get it blowing in from the mountains. So there's that. Con number 5, cold winters. Now, we all know that cold is a subjective term. If you're coming from Buffalo, New York, you might not think these winters are cold, but for some, they still feel a need to fly south every winter. So we're gonna have some snow in Richmond. I've been in Richmond most of my life, and you're definitely gonna probably see 1 or 2 snowstorms every year. However, they don't typically amount to that much. Before your children get really excited about missing school for a week or 2, just remind them that the snow typically doesn't hang around more than 1 or 2 days. As a matter of fact, people from up north tend to laugh at us Richmonders because we do the classic thing, we run to the store and we do buy bread and milk. It is what it is. So whenever we might have a major snowstorm, it definitely creates a bigger issue because we don't necessarily have the manpower, the resources, and the equipment that we need. Case in point, we had a situation earlier this year where there was a stretch of 50 miles between Washington, D.C. and Richmond in the Fredericksburg area where it was a crippling snowstorm, and people were actually stuck on the interstate for 24 hours. So the Virginia Department of Transportation has assured us that they are actively vetting and looking for enough to cover everything that we need here. It's probably not going to snow until January. That's the most likely month, but we actually have had snow recorded in 7 different months of the year. So if you don't love the weather in Richmond, stick around. It will change. I think it is a really good idea, in case you were to get stuck, to make sure you have some water, some snacks, and some warm blankets in your car. Hopefully you'll never have to need them. I've never needed them, but for some people, these are pretty cold winters. Con number 6. For some of you guys, this might be painful, but we do not have a major sports team here in Richmond. As a matter of fact, Richmond, Virginia is the most populated state in the country that doesn't have a major sports team. There's some debate about this. It's kind of a hot topic. Most people believe that control this type of thing, that we don't have enough populated cities in one area. In other words, are people from Norfolk and Virginia Beach going to drive to Richmond because they have seasons tickets? Maybe not. At the end of the day, it just seems like our local politicians and planners of the city have just not wanted to invest. Either that or we just cannot attract a major team. So we do have the Flying Squirrels. That is a baseball team that is in the minor leagues. We had the Richmond Braves farm team here until 2008. In 2010, the Richmond Squirrels came, and they are a dearly loved part of the Richmond landscape. So curious what you guys think about that. Drop a comment below. For NFL players, the closest teams you're going to find are the Washington Redskins, which are now called the Washington Commanders. the Carolina Panthers or the Tennessee Titans. That's what you're going to have to do, is travel or hit up a fun sports bar. Con number 7, the housing market. Still an issue here. Homes are still scarce. Richmond has become such a popular place for people to move to. Forbes has literally let us know that Richmond is number 55 as far as all the cities that have been looked at, where you're most likely to be able to find a job, build a career, find a business. It's all happening here, but that has not helped our housing market. People are still willing to pay over list price in Richmond. There is still low inventory, rising interest rates, and competition. Obviously, it has gotten better, definitely better than it was over the past couple of years, but it's still an issue. Homes are averaging $35,000 higher than they were last year. There are 29% fewer homes coming on the market as far as new listings go, and new construction is actually not a whole lot better. Our team actually represents 8 different custom builders, so we are well aware of the challenges of building. That would be a trend, I would say, that's true all over the country. We have a shortage of land, we have a shortage of lenders, we have a shortage of inventory, and materials are still an issue. Isn't it great when you can still blame everything on supply chains because of COVID? So don't be discouraged. You just need a well-versed real estate agent to help you navigate this. People are still buying homes. But Richmond City, Chesterfield, and Henrico were definitely coming up as typically difficult places for people to buy if they are part of the working class, which most of us are, or millennials particularly. So that's a challenge. It is overcomable. It might require a little more patience, but if you're not able to do it right now, take your time, save your money for that down payment. We are standing by to help when the time is right, and we will find you a wonderful place to live in Richmond. Con number 8 is crime. I don't even like to talk about crime or say that word because it actually sounds scarier than it is. But there's an organization called crimegrade.org. They do just what it sounds like, and they gave Richmond a C+. So basically, it's mainly in the city where we have crime, and you just need to know where to live. It can literally change from block to block. Most of the surrounding areas and the suburbs of Richmond are very safe to live in. And when I talk about crime, I'm not necessarily talking about violent crime, but it's more likely that your package might get stolen from your porch or your car might get broken into. I am happy to report that the homicide rate has not risen in Richmond at all. So like anything, you just need to do your due diligence, use common sense, feel comfortable where you're purchasing, talk to your neighbors, and stay safe. Con number 9, off-street parking. Richmond City officials claim that there are over 20,000 parking spots in and around Richmond, but residents here might disagree. This is actually a hot topic. There might be 20,000 spots, but sometimes they're closed in the evening, or they're expensive, or they're not available on weekends, or it's just full. Now, it's nothing like New York City. It's not anything compared to that, but it's troubling for people who are constantly coming down here and don't have a set routine. Now, on the other hand, there are other complaints, which is kind of funny, where people think that we have too much dedicated space to parking. Too many parking garages, too much land surface, messing up the aesthetics and the beauty of the neighborhood and Richmond. So there you have it. People, they're just not going to be happy. So you just have to learn, you have to get into your routine, you have to learn where to park, and you have to remember that these issues are always improving. We have great infrastructure here, and it will be getting better. Food for thought. Some people in the planning department think, we park our cars 95% of the time and we drive them 5% of the time. Maybe we should figure out other ways besides everybody driving their own car, which brings us back to the public transportation issue that I mentioned in con number 1. Our last con today is con number 10, and that would be the nightlife here. Some people believe that we just don't have the clubs and venues that they are accustomed to, and I guess I would have to agree. They do tend to close earlier than people are used to, and that can be a problem if you'd like to dance the night away. And the music scene could be this similar vibe, right? Some people believe there's a more mature music scene here not exactly what they're looking for. If you want to go and actually enjoy a late night of dancing and partying, you might need to go up to DC or Atlanta. It's going to be a little tougher to find in Richmond because things tend to close at midnight. There's a couple of clubs that might be open till 2 a.m., but they're tricky to find.